Good evening. This is the Lebanon Board of Works meeting. I'm Dick Robertson, sitting in for the mayor tonight, who is on vacation. Will we all stand and have a pledge allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Sure. Jane Taylor. Present. Bill Stoner.
Present.
Dick Robertson.
Present.
Alan Milburn.
Present.
And Mayor Gentry is absent this evening. Thank you.
Did everyone have a chance to take a look at the minutes of the last meeting?
Yes.
Any changes or anything? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes.
We have a motion to approve. Is there
Second
a
the motion.
second? Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, first department reports will be the police department.
Good evening. Since the last meeting, the Lebanon Police Department has responded to 662 calls for service. A total of 14 people were arrested, 3 operating while intoxicated, 2 driving while suspended, 6 were wanted on a warrant, 2 for possession of methamphetamine, and 1 for domestic battery. A total of 2 handgun permit applications were sent on to the state for final approval. From May 12th to the 16th, the FOP sent 8 of our officers that worked on March 2nd to Washington, D.C. to represent the city for the National Police Week. The National Police Week pays homage to the fallen officers and adds their names to the wall at the Law Enforcement National Museum, so they were there for that. May 13th to the 17th, Detective Bales and Dickerson attended IMPD's Homicide and Major Crimes Investigation School. May 22nd and 23rd, LPD hosted the Policing the Teen Brain course. This is the second time this year we've hosted it. Officers Mount and Warren attended that. And today was the first day for Officers Jamison Wright, Austin McCloskey, and Graydon Robertson to attend the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy. We are still currently accepting applications for patrol officers. That's all I have.
Any questions for the chief?
How many officers are we down, Chief?
I'm sorry?
How many officers are we down? One?
We need to hire one more.
One more. Okay.
One more.
Good. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Fire department, please.
Good evening. Since the last Board of Works meeting, Lebanon Fire has made 107 emergency calls for service. We've logged 309 training hours, performed 18 commercial inspections, installed 3 car seats, and participated in 2 public education events. On May 14th through the 16th, LFD hosted 3 days of truck company ops training. This training was done at the training tower under live fire conditions, focusing on breaching and searching techniques. Over 100 firefighters attended over this 3 days. That was a pretty large thing. We had 6 different departments represented within the county, so great participation on that. From May 25th to June 1st, firefighter Sam Daughtry will be detailed to the Hoosier Burn Camp. This is something that Sam has always done, but now that he's 11, and he did it even before he was 11 and fireman, and so we detail him now to the burn camp. And I don't know how many years he's serviced there. And we also provide our ranger for their use down at the burn camp at Camp Tecumseh. And then tomorrow morning, the members of the Boone County Public Safety will gather at Station 11 at 07:30 hours for our annual Hoosier Burn Camp ride. The group will head to Carmel Fire headquarters and then leave in a larger group heading to Camp Tecumseh. All proceeds of the ride goes to the Hoosier Burn Camp. And I know that in years past, we've had probably close to 35, 40 motorcycles leave our headquarters to go to Carmel to join in on that. So hopefully the weather holds out for the guys riding tomorrow. And then next Monday, the 2019 Teen Academy kicks off. We have 40 kids this year. 20 of the kids are returning veterans. And then LFD will be assisting with various activities throughout the week. They do fire trainings, extrication trainings, they do drills at the training tower. So it's a great, fun-packed week for the kids there at the, for the camp. So that's all I have.
Have we had any kids that ever graduated out of there up to be firemen?
Yes, we have.
Have you?
Yep.
Good.
Yes, we sure have. So I believe, don't hold me to this, but I believe Matt Young did.
Good. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you. John, Parks Department.
Good evening. Hope everybody had a nice Memorial weekend. The Mel Canyon Classic was held May 18th and 19th. Had great weather for most of the event till Sunday, but I believe all got through very well. Joe will tell you more about this in a minute. The event brought in a pretty good crowd, and the carts got up to very high speeds. Joe will probably also tell you about that. Joe LePage put a lot of hard work in to make this event run smoothly, physically, and a lot of hours, to say the least. Also want to thank the street department and the parks department for all their extra work. We shut down Friday and Monday to set up and then tear down for the event. A lot of hard work went in, and couldn't do it without the two departments working together so closely, and just appreciate all their hard work and dedication. Thanks to the entire park staff for Seashore Water Park. We opened this past weekend with great weather. Had just an outstanding weekend. We look forward to a great summer season. I'm sure it puts a lot on all the other departments, so I appreciate their help. I know, Tanya, we're keeping you covered with 60 new employees, and then quite a bit more that we've generated for all the other departments, but thank you very much. The dog park is getting very close to opening. Tomorrow the security pros will be in working on the security system for the gates, so we're getting really close to having a press release on when we will have the soft opening before real soon. So registration also will happen real soon. The fence is all installed. The signage is going up. We have lighting on it. I believe Triangle Asphalt will be doing the drive here coming up soon, if I'm not mistaken. I think the 1st of June, so we're looking forward to that. And anyway, we'll keep tuned to Facebook and our parks website, and we'll let you know what's going on and get it out to Joe so he can communicate to everybody. We had a walkthrough just a few minutes ago. That's why I'm still stinky, hot, and sweaty. And the pump house down at the splash pad at Abner Longley. It looks very cool. We still have a lot of dirt. We can't get the seed down. Put some landscaping in today. We just had a walkthrough with two Canadians, that walked through all the motherboards and all the pump house. And it's really going to be a neat feature for our parks, and really looking forward to it. There again, I wanted to open last weekend. Still have quite a few kinks that we're working out. Hopefully this coming weekend we can open it up. There again, there's quite a bit to do, so forgive us for the appearance of it right now, but we'll get it up and going as soon as we can, the outside prettiness. But it's just been so sloppy out there. We're just lucky to get the grass mown in a lot of places, and the crew's done an outstanding job there. Upcoming events over the next month, we have co-ed softball, goes through the end of July. Swim lessons begin June 10th and will run for 2 weeks. Excuse me, both morning and evening. Kiwanis Fishing Derby, Colonial Market Days and Car Show on June 8th. That will be at the Hot Pond for the Fishing Derby through Kiwanis. Colonial Market Days will be down at Abner Longley on Saturday and Sunday. I guess there's quite a few pre-sale tickets is what I'm hearing, so that ought to be a nice new event for us. Casey Sampson's heading that up, doing a nice job. And the car show, this car show out of Kokomo, and that's going to be at Memorial Park. I think they have over 100 cars already. Kind of, we haven't had one of those for a long time. Had the VWs a long time ago, but looking forward to that. We have co-ed volleyball tournament, so for those of you that haven't signed up, please get signed up. That's on June 15th. Poolside Pilates with the YMCA begins June 4th. At 7 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursday. I expect you all to be there. By the way, Dick, there, Rob, Alan, get out
Is the
there.
pool heated?
There we go. It's a free,
That
it's
time
free
of morning,
too,
was
but,
it heated?
yeah, you won't see me. I'll twist myself in a knot and drown or something. There again, we also have free fitness in the park on June 22nd. That's something else that we're doing. Quite a busy time. Also, Mr. Milburn was out earlier. They put the cupola on the memorial shelter that the Rotary is helping us renovate. Looks outstanding. We still have some kinks there to on the grounds, again, landscaping stuff that's just too wet, but if that eagle is just, it sets it off. It's beautiful. If you haven't been by it, stop by and look at the memorial shelter. It's gorgeous.
The eagle has landed, right, John?
Yeah, it has. The eagle's landed. It's a beautiful eagle up there. Yeah, it's flying. I hope it doesn't fly away, I tell you. Quite a bit of dollars in that thing, but it looks gorgeous. If you get a chance, stop by. Our drinking fountains will be up and going as soon as we can get the water lines dug. We try by shovel and the water fills in, so as soon as we can, our drinking fountain's the only one working, are in the pool and down the south side in the restrooms. That's about the only place they're working. We hit a line when we were doing the construction on the shelter. As soon as we can, we'll get it up and going, but everything's very well. That's all we have.
Any questions for John?
No.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Engineering?
Evening, board members. Engineering report for tonight. Start with some updates on the downtown construction. Work completed since I last addressed the board. Phase 6, as of actually this afternoon, which is the area west of Lafayette Avenue over to Patterson, is now closed to traffic. So that is a 90-day, or excuse me, 120-day closure for that phase. Phase 5 is a 90-day closure. So that section is now officially closed to traffic. Obviously, we're doing all we can to accommodate the local businesses and residents that live in that area, make sure they still have access. When I say closed to traffic, we're referring to through traffic, of course. Phase 5, the section there to the east of that between Lafayette Avenue and West Street, curbs, path concrete, walks, those are all ongoing at this point. Also in that section and section 6, all the water main is now in and complete, with the exception of some water mains that run up Patterson Street. Those will be forthcoming here shortly. Also in sections 5 and 6, the storm sewer installation is moving forward. A lot of that storm sewer is already in, working west in front of the ARC property, and they should be wrapping that up. So work that I expect to be completed before I come back before you. We're under schedule to have all the walks, the curbs, and the concrete paths on Phase 5 complete. That's from Lafayette to West Street. Path pavers will be well underway, if not completed, by the next time we meet on June 10th. Water main installation should be entirely wrapped up in all 6 phases, as well as the storm sewer installation. And I'm happy to report that the remainder of the landscaping work on the square in the first 4 phases is scheduled to start tomorrow and be completed this week and or next. So these are this is the color. These are the new annuals that will be coming in. So a lot of people have asked, why isn't there more color in the landscape palette? Well, there's intended to be, and unfortunately, a lot of these things had to be specially grown for Lebanon to get them to the size that we were requesting, and they're ready now. So they should be arriving tomorrow and start going into the ground immediately. I also anticipate in the next 2 weeks that we will start the signal work at the intersection of 32 and Meridian. That is scheduled to begin in early June. And then work still expected to start later this spring or summer. I have to mention the west side of State Road 39, so we are going to replace the sidewalks along that side of the street. That will also include new lighting, new street furnishings like trash cans and benches, and some planters for some plants and some color on that side. Those plans are currently under development and are expected to be completed by the end of the week and immediately filed with NDOT for that permitting. I remind everyone to continue to look for your weekly updates. get on the contractor's weekly email distribution list, visit the Heart of Lebanon page. I can't thank Joe enough for all the hard work he does putting out those daily updates. I remind everyone that we may not be on the square, but there are still plenty of businesses in the construction area, and I ask you all do what you can to support them. Moving on to other projects, the Northern Interchange projects, I only bring that up because we are nearing the next grant cycle, which will be the build grant cycle that will be coming up in July. So we're already filtering through some documentation, some letters of support that we're getting out there for signatures so that we're ready for that application. Pavement resurfacing projects with the street department. The bid openings are scheduled for later this evening. And also keep in mind that we are gearing up for round 2 of the community crossing grant programs. Myself, as well as several street department members, are already on are scheduled to attend their training sessions coming up on June 18th. No change in the plan for the roads that we will be resurfacing at this time, but we'll see how the bids open up later this evening. The sidewalk replacement programs, the active living programs, those bids are also opening up this evening, at least the first phase. There's still some work being done on right-of-way acquisition along Lafayette Avenue and Witt Road. That will be phase 2 of our major sidewalk projects that we intend to fill in some gaps there and connect some neighborhoods to the local elementary schools. Also under our active living program, all our pedestrian improvements and traffic calming devices at the parks and the elementary schools are, happy to report, are now in place. Big Four Trail, just want to talk a little bit about that. Obviously, that's a big part of our downtown reconstruction project, bringing that trail from Patterson Street all the way into downtown. But we have our eyes on larger park and trail expansions. We are gearing up for round 2 of the Next Level Trails grant programs with the state. And we've got already some initial budgets in for that project from our consultant DLZ. The price tag is around $5 million, and that, remind you though, that includes land acquisitions between Thorntown and Lebanon. That's roughly the area of 400 West out to the Sarum Plant Road. Those are trail right-of-ways that are currently under control of the Friends of Boone County Trails. Those we'll be talking about them donating and dedicating those trails to the city. It would also include widening and resurfacing of that trail system there, as well as all the way into Sam Ralston Road. And then as well as the major point of this project would be to extend the trail from downtown to and through Abner Longley Park and connect to the Safe Routes to School trail that was done along Hendrickson Drive, across the front of Stokes Elementary. So we'll look for further development on that in the coming weeks, but we just did receive those initial budgets. Street Department also will be making formal awards tonight for some of our unit price material bids. And this would have to do with our stone and gravel as well as miscellaneous concrete work. Indianapolis Avenue Phase 2, the next major construction project, obviously has been underway for some time for utility relocations. Actually, the road project was planned to start on May 6th, but has been delayed due to some of those utility relocations, both overhead electric and phone, as well as the underground water relocation. Those things are all wrapping up, though, as we speak, and we are scheduled to close the road from Spencer Avenue south to the intersection, including the intersection of Noble Street, on Monday, June 3rd. I want to remind everyone that there will be detours established, both truck detours that are established on the interstate and state highway systems. There'll be notices out on the interstate for trucks that might be thinking about exiting onto Indianapolis Avenue, as well as then local detour routes for pedestrian or passenger vehicles, but want to remind everyone that 32 going out of town, east of town, will still be open. You'll still be able to drive on Indianapolis Avenue, State Road 32, all the way to that Spencer Avenue cutoff and leaving town to the east. You'll still be able to get to Jerry's Feed and Salt. You'll still be able to get to the Milky Way and the other businesses that are down there in that area. You just will not be able to drive further south on Indianapolis Avenue. That is a 45-day closure. This is Phase 1, just between Noble and Spencer for 45 days. Phase 2 is a different setup. That is the area between Hendricks and Noble. When we do close Phase 2, it's not a full closure, but there will only be one-way traffic allowed northbound. So trucks, vehicles coming off of the interstate on Indianapolis Avenue will be able to continue north into the city, but there will be a detour for traffic going south. And the reason we took that approach, we looked at other approaches. Unfortunately, given the right-of-way constraints, given drainage constraints, we would have to spend a lot of money on temporary pavement to keep that access, full access both ways. So we made the decision to go with just one-way access to save us a lot of money, millions of dollars in temporary pavement that would have had to been thrown away. So that's the reason for that rationale.
Kevin, what was the date from Spencer South?
From Spencer South, yeah, I didn't mention that. So it can only start after this first 45 days of closure. So we're talking about June and halfway through July. Then we'll switch to that Phase 2. Now, completion of the second phase was supposed to be done by November 15th, but we've been delayed almost a month on getting started. So we're still in the process of negotiating new completion dates with the contractor and with the state of Indiana. Keep in mind, this is a federally funded project, so the state of Indiana has a lot of control over the project. Our intention, though, is to still open the road fully by November 15th. What we are proposing is that there will be certain elements of the project that will not be complete. They will complete those in the spring, like final asphalt surfacing, perhaps the sidewalks, things of that nature, so that we can redefine what we call substantial completion to get the road fully open to traffic before we go into the holiday season, and then wrap up some of those final touches in the spring. With that, no real further updates other than on Gateway Marketplace. Happy to report really all of our utility infrastructure is in. We've had a lot of delays on the subgrade preparation, the dirt preparation due to the weather. So unfortunately, we're still fighting through that. We had hoped to actually be putting curbs down and getting ready for asphalt by this time of the year, but that site has just been difficult, to say the least. So that's continuing, so as soon as we get those roads in, you'll see, or actually before you see those roads go in, you'll probably see Burger King get started, and then towards the end of the summer, we'll see some of the other businesses start to open up, their construction sites, excuse me. Any questions?
Kevin, I got a couple questions. One on the downtown project there on Main Street there, headed west. I see we've got some new grassy areas, and I'm wondering who's responsible for mowing those. I'm just kind of concerned we put grass in where there was no grass before, and I was wondering if those property and business owners, property owners, whatever, were notified and accepted to that, or if they're supposed to maintain that, or we, I kind of feel like we should if that was something that wasn't there before, but what's the plan?
The plan would be to let the owners maintain the grass. There's not a whole lot of new grass that's being placed out there where there was none before, but case in point, the area across the frontage of the Key Bank ATM lot, as well as then the lots that Huntington Bank owns next to Par Ritchie. Those areas had no landscape material whatsoever, so there is some new grass there. The other areas either had grass out front before or also have grass elsewhere on the property, so we don't feel like it's too much of a burden to add to that, to their maintenance there. But the trail would be maintained by the Parks Department as a linear park, but the grass is going to be similar to other tree lawns throughout the city, maintained by the adjacent homeowners, or property owners, excuse me. Yeah. Now, you might ask, why is the grass getting so tall along that first block? The contractor, I think, did not realize that they were required to maintain and cut the grass for 90 days, so that has been rectified, and that is going to be mowed tomorrow.
Oh, well, good. Okay.
It's a bit high.
The other question I had was on the Big Four Trail. I know from speaking to a couple of county folks that had some concerns of the city taking over the trail. Have they been communicated with and talked about or included in on this process of Big Four, the trail people donating that to the city? Has a county been involved?
It's my understanding, I'm involved just on the periphery, but it's my understanding they are involved. There is a group of members that are looking at trail projects that include Friends of Trails members as well as county and city officials that are looking at all those things. In fact, there was an announcement, a photo op opportunity this morning that those officials were at celebrating the grant application that was successful for the town of Colfax to pave the trail from Thorntown up into Colfax. So yeah, there's a pretty good group of people that are talking about trails countywide. It includes representatives from Boone County as well as from Whitestown and Zionsville. Derek Warren in our office is really heading that up and working really hard to see these things happen.
Okay. That's all I have. Anybody else got any questions? No. Thanks, Kevin.
Yep.
Street Department. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Let's go to planning. I marked Ben out real fast. Sorry, Ben.
If I would have known, I would have just gone home. Good evening, board members. Planning Department report for this evening. We continue to remain busy. We're definitely into the summer construction season. Our building inspector completed 74 inspections over the last couple of weeks, so he is doing 5 to 6 inspections every day. So he's got a full schedule almost every day, and we're really scheduling out 24 to 48 hours. We can't do same-day inspections anymore because they're booking up pretty quick. New permits, we're continuing to remain strong. I think we're going to have our best year in terms of new single-family home starts this year, primarily fueled by Riley Ridge, the new neighborhood that's out along the interstate. I think they've pulled 19 permits already this year in about 14 weeks, so they're still doing more than 1 permit a week that they're pulling out there. So they're really doing really well, just showing that there is some demand there that they're able to meet at that price range out there. In terms of code enforcement, still continue to remain busy there. We're going out once a week, tagging junk vehicles and other vehicles that are parked where they're not supposed to be. And obviously, we're now into grass and weed season, so that's big. We're doing a lot of that now, just over the last month or so they remain busy there. Quick update on the comprehensive plan. We're starting to receive draft sections of the plan, and we're doing some initial review internally. Additional sections are going to be passed along to us over the next couple of weeks to review. At that point, then once we complete our review, they'll start loading that content into the website so that it can be passed around to additional groups like our steering committee, plan commission, and council will start looking at that. We're anticipating that either in June or July that we will present the plan to the plan commission, and then it'll come to the council the following month for the initial presentation. So we're hoping to have this wrapped up and adopted late summer, early fall. So it is moving forward. It's taking a little bit longer to get some of the content generated, but it is moving forward still, and hopefully be done by about 3 or 4 months from now. So that's all I have. Be happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Any questions?
No.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Street Department, please.
Good evening. Let's see, we've had the chipper truck out. It's been out whenever we can between rain events, obviously, but we're trying to fight the rain. We had the patcher out too whenever it's not raining. Stormwater crew's been busy repairing and cleaning structures. They've had the vac machine out, vacuuming out some structures. This rain's really showing us some that aren't draining too well. So we're trying to stay on top of that. We also have had the street sweeper out daily with the exception of rainy days. It can go in the light rain, but heavy rain we just pick up water and that's it. Just constantly coming back, so we don't run it on those days. The bike sale, we had a huge turnout. We had it running from 5 to 8. I think at 6 o'clock we're out of bikes. They were lined up at the gate. I thought we was a flea market for a second or the fair or something. But it was big. Myself and Kevin had a good MS4 conference on May 14th. It was very informative. Learned some stuff. We need to keep track of the dog park, stuff like that. It's a lot more to it with MS4. So we've been fighting the rain to get our daily jobs completed. I'm sure every other department has as well. So as long as people are patient with us, we'll get it. As far as the Mel Kenyon event, I mean, I wasn't as pleased as John, I guess. We spent Thursday, Friday, and Monday setting up, tearing down for the race. We logged 208 man hours paid, and we logged 20 overtime hours paid. So, I mean, I lost 3 days and a lot of time. So, my opinion, I like to see it go away, but that's just me. We don't mind helping, but it's hard to keep up. The street department would also like to welcome our newest hire, Todd Musser, and his family to the street department family. So that'll get us back to full staff.
Okay, good.
That's all I got.
Any questions?
No?
Thanks, Bud.
Thank you.
Joe? Communications Department?
You can spare the jokes. Do not adjust your TVs. This is the brightest orange or yellow or whatever set of guys that are going to come up here. Ben started us off with a little blue, and then Dave, and then me just blinded by the light. I apologize for that, but you'll see me coming, that's for sure, whether it's up to the mic or out in public. I wanted to first give a quick update on our tiger statues. At the last Board of Works meeting, said that they were delivered. 20 of them are now in the city's possession. Our tiger tour of sorts begins tomorrow at Central Elementary School. We'll be showcasing one of those tigers at their end of year ceremony. They're kind of all school get together, and so we'll kind of plant that seed with them with the hopes of pushing those tigers that will go in all elementary schools, middle school, high school, the beginning of the fall school year for them. So we'll start with department heads and municipal building, police department, places like that to start. We're setting up a meet and greet with our artists and our tigers to be able to kind of get their creative juices flowing, so to speak, by going and checking those out and just seeing the dimensions and the different options that might be available. Also looking into bases for those tiger statues. They are fiberglass, so they are very light. And so to keep them from walking off, we will need to anchor them into something more substantial. And so that's kind of the next step with that, along with the design. The Love in Lebanon podcast, John mentioned it in his Board of Works report. Colonial Market Days coming up June 8th and 9th. We had one of the organizers on our podcast that we recorded and put up on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play earlier today. Emily Wolfgang from Black Box is going to come in on Friday, so we're going to talk to her about the Black Box Theater. They have a Little Mermaid coming up, and so wanting to continue that community service with that avenue for the Love in Lebanon podcast. And so if you have an episode idea or like your organization featured, very easy to do. Just shoot an email to lovinlebanon@lebanon.in.gov, so we can set up a time. The different social organizations wanted to be on there as well, and so we're organizing times with them. Finally, to the Mel Kenyon Classic, and it was a good Saturday for weather-wise for the event. Sunday got rainy, and so things got shortened. Our quality of life, our food trucks were not featured on Sunday, just because there was really no point. There was very little crowd with the threat of rain and then the rain, with the shortened field and things as well. I want to give a huge shout out to our street department and our parks department as well. Dave broke it down by man hours and what was paid. This event would have not happened this year without those guys doing that, and we'll touch on that just a little bit more in a second. But just the selflessness that they showed and pulling the trigger to be able to secure some comp hours, comp time to be able to do that. Big thanks to John. I see John Lastly here staying late and working with that event and the cleanup of it. I will say that this is, it's always good to see Mel there at the event. Mel was able to be there because it was a little bit earlier before the pool opened. So Mel was able to be there Saturday, Sunday, shaking hands with drivers, being a part of the event, which is what we want to honor a Lebanon legend. And so we took some extra efforts. We had an autograph station. We were set to give away copies of his book, signed copies of his book, A Hand for the Wheel, and had some pictures that from the City of Lebanon car, 58, I think, where Mel was going to sign those and give those to folks. That didn't happen. None of that happened because we were short on volunteers. And so, as Dave mentioned, and as John will mention, this is probably the last year for the event, just because a lack of volunteers. Our people that were scheduled to work the autograph session and do all those fun things had to work the track because we had volunteers that just wouldn't sign up. We had people that were said they would be there to help set up the event, which is heavy track, unloaded through a semi and all those things. Didn't happen. And so it relied heavily on the Parks Department and the Street Department. And so potholes that didn't get filled, you can blame that on this event. The grass that's long and that the Parks Department couldn't get to, you can blame that on this event. And while it was great to see some folks give of their time, it's one of those things that you need. With the 6 turns that are there, you have to have 2 people for each, and you have to have 12 people that are willing to stand outside on a sunny day, accept free pizza, a free T-shirt, meet Mel Kenyon, get all the free water they can drink, be part of a racing event, and still not have enough people to do it. And so the autograph session didn't happen. We want to bring in some extra elements as well with the announcing and make it fun for the public. That didn't happen as well. That was something I enjoy doing every year, the races and yucking it up and interviewing Mel and things like that. That didn't happen either because I had to work a corner. And so I'd like to just step on a small soapbox, and I'll step off very shortly. But I started looking at non-for-profits and giving of volunteer hours and also monetarily. We are at an all-time low as far as people giving of their time. It's become one of those things that says, while nonprofits have benefited from record highs in volunteer hours, that usually means fewer people are doing more. And so, you had the John Lasleys who stayed 3 or 4 hours after it was over, while the rest of our folks scattered. And so we had a 68-year-old man and his wife loading big heavy fence. We had people sign up, they didn't show up. And so that's one of the reasons why these events don't happen. And I'm partial because it's the Mel Kenyon Classic, and I've grown to love Mel Kenyon and what the event is. The racers come in from all over. They have some folks drive from Iowa because of our racetrack and the speeds and all that stuff. 82 miles an hour, John, was the mile per hour that they topped this year. And so that half-mile track. So we have Detroit, down in Kentucky, we have Ohio, and we have Iowa. And so they all come on to Lebanon. So I'm partial to the event, but charitable giving in general, whether it's 4th of July, whether it's back to the 50s, struggling to find volunteers to give of their time to do it. And so looking at that, 15-year low, and has continued to drop over the course of time. And a great quote that I saw, continued declines in community participation, and I'm community development director, so that's why this soapbox, will produce detrimental effects for everyone, including greater social isolation, less trust in each other, poor physical and mental health. And so I underline the social isolation and less trust in each other. And looking at the room, there are fewer than 10 residents in here, not department heads. When we had downtown call-outs for, hey, share your opinion on the upcoming downtown construction, we got not a full room, we got a few people. But as soon as it's complete, we have a lot of people that are willing to give of their time to go on social media and things like that. To that point, Lebanon Chatter. Lebanon Chatter has, the original Lebanon Chatter has 11,000 people who are on Lebanon Chatter. And it's usually a 140-character rock fight that goes on. And because of that dissension and that isolation and that less trust in each other, started Lebanon Chatter 2. So there's Lebanon Chatter 2. So 1 is 11,000. Lebanon Chatter 2 is 8,300. And so if you're looking at a population of Lebanon of 16,000 people, they're combined there, nearly 20,000 folks. I'm sure that they're on Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 combined doing that. And so that social isolation of being on your device and throwing those rocks, less trust in each other, is doing that. But now there's a Lebanon Chatter 3 because of the dissension in the first one and the second one. We're on Lebanon Chatter 3, and there are almost 300 members on Lebanon Chatter 3. So furthering that rock fight, what would happen if we took that time on those sites, those gossip sites, and invested? You don't have to like racing. You certainly don't have to do that. If you're passionate about animals, if you're passionate about kids and drug prevention, find a way to donate, whether time or with your finances. And I'll get off the soapbox with a quote from Mother Teresa. It says, "One thing that I ask of you, never be afraid of giving. There's a deep joy in giving, since what we receive is much more than what we give." And I can tell you that seeing the looks on the faces of drivers who are so grateful to come to Lebanon, to see the look on Mel Kenyon's face, who, if we can be honest, several years ago was forgotten by Lebanon, and he would tell you that he felt forgotten by Lebanon, racing in the Indianapolis 500, being a racing legend, midget champion, known all over the world, forgotten by his hometown. And so being able to provide that service, I can tell you, in giving to that event, provides great joy. And so if I can get off the soapbox by saying, if it's not the Mel Kenyon Classic, if it's not, Symphony at Sunset, find something where you can invest your time and your resources and be able to give to our community. Because if you don't, it's so easy to sit back and just throw rocks. It's so easy to say, well, I didn't like that happen. Well, where were you when it started? Like, where were you on the planning? Were you there? No, you weren't, but you don't like the end result. And so I like our folks, and myself included, to continue and do a better job of maybe being engaged in our community. So, soapbox, I'll step down.
Well said, Joe.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Joe, I do have a question for you. And it may be for,
My entrance.
I'm
That was
sorry,
my
no.
mic drop. I was walking away.
You did good, I guarantee you. And a much needed speech around Lebanon here. And Ben might be able to help you answer this question. Is People's Restaurant, are they still planning to open up in the alley? Is that still a plan? Does anybody know?
Very much so. That was part of the economic development incentive when we met with Brett and Chris when they were looking at Lebanon. The concepts have still been worked out. There was going to be, and still may be, a partial garage door that will go up to open up the alley. Outdoor seating has always been on the docket as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know.
Well, I hope it is. I hope it is.
And Brett was in here, and
I was in Noblesville today walking around the square, and I saw one of their alleys that's a walking alley, and how they put some decorative and seats down through there. And I thought, yeah, man, and they're doing the same thing we did. And I thought, boy, that's just exactly what we need. And then I thought, well, yeah, people's going to open up. Boy, I can't wait till they open up. And so that way we can have that nice look down through there.
that was one of the major selling points of that location.
Yeah.
was not only the view of the courthouse and its proximity to pretty much everything and being on Main, but having that alley there to be able to activate it for pedestrian traffic, but also outdoor seating and being able to have a line of demarcation of where folks could go and enjoy a beverage outside there in the alley.
Yeah, I was just curious. I just want to see, make sure they were still hoping to go that way. So, thanks. Okay, thanks, everyone. Old business. We'll start with unit price materials. Kevin?
If you remember, we did unit price material bids earlier in the year, and unfortunately, we had a couple of items in that laundry list of bidded materials that we did not have any response to. Particularly of concern was concrete work, miscellaneous concrete work, as well as stone and sand. Stone and sand is, the materials are primarily used by the street department, of course, for the work that they have to do, by the storm sewer department for the work they have to do. So obviously a critical component that we had to rebid. Concrete is sometimes used by the street department, but also used by our active living group, and it's the way we repair reported trip hazards and things like that. So small-scale concrete projects. Of course, we bid out the larger concrete sidewalk active living projects, but for the one-off, there's a trip hazard on the corner of the street, this is how we bid out that type of stuff. And then those unit prices are also used to establish the cost-share programs for the residential sidewalks. So what you have before you there is the bid tabulation for all things that we bid. But really of concern tonight is what we rebid, which was at the bottom. It's highlighted there in green and with red text. Stone and sand as well as concrete. We only had one bidder on each topic. So under concrete, we had Wilson Concrete submit a bid of $10.20 per square foot for concrete sidewalk remove and replace, as well as then a unit price bid of $825 for each ADA ramp. I think that was a standard 72 square foot ADA ramp is how we based that. Only one bidder obviously supplied bids for those materials, and that was Wilson Concrete. And then under stone and sand, there's a host of prices and materials listed there, but again, the only bidder was U.S. Aggregates submitting that bid. So that is NDOT number 53 stone picked up by the city, $8. $8 a ton. Sorry, I think my spreadsheet's got a mistake there. It says gallons. We're not buying stone by the gallon. We're buying stone by the ton. Number 53 stone delivered to the city, $17.50 a ton. Number 11 stone picked up $15.50, delivered $24.50. Number 8 wash stone. This is primarily for trench backfill for sewers, $11.75. Again, not for a tube, but for a ton. And that was the pickup price. The deliver price per ton is $20.75. And then the last, but certainly not least, is sand. NDOT number 24 sand, $8 per ton picked up and $12.50 delivered. So tonight I am asking for your permission to issue a notice of award to Wilson Concrete and U.S. Aggregates for the materials that they submitted bids on. And these would be obviously pending legal review for the preparation of the notice of award and ultimately contracts, and authorizing the mayor to execute those notices of award as well as the subsequent contracts that will be executed for those materials. Any questions?
Any questions for Kevin? Do you have any advice, sir?
So Kevin, just again, for the record, the standards that these are the lowest, most responsive and responsible bidders. Obviously, we have one bidder per category here, so it's your recommendation that they are
Yes,
responsive as well and responsible?
They are responsive and responsible. Both companies have done work with the city in the past. Their bid packets were complete and fully executed as required in the bidding documents.
Okay. I will entertain a motion to approve Wilson Concrete for the concrete for this year and U.S. Aggregate for the different materials of stone and sand for this year.
I make a motion, we approve Wilson Concrete for the concrete, U.S. Aggregates for the stone, subject to legal reviews, and to have the mayor sign and award the contract.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I second the motion.
We have a second. Any questions? No questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you, Kevin. That is the old business. We'll go to new business. Item A is the street closure, 4th of July.
Good evening again. My name's Robert Wiry. I am the 4th of July Committee Chair. And tonight I've got Tricia Black here. She's the parade chair, and she's going to be presenting closure for the parade.
We're actually going to go back to the original route on July the 4th. The Lebanon Police Department has been notified to close the streets and barricade the streets off at 12. Parade will start at 1. They also will be marking no parking signs the night before and clearing the streets before the parade. Is there any questions?
Lost it. Mm-hmm. Any questions? Same route as the past, isn't it?
Same, yeah.
Okay.
Yep, we're going back, with the construction being done, we're going back to the original route.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the parade route for 2019.
I would make a motion to approve the parade route for the 4th of July parade as requested.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Approved.
Thank you.
Next is bid openings for active living sidewalks.
Clerk Fair, do you have the bid packages? Robinson? Do you want me to- Thank you once again. This is the bid opening for the active living or concrete sidewalk programs that we put together. I am holding two bid packages that both are signified by the Clerk Treasurer's Office as arriving prior to today at 3 p.m. With that, I will open. The first one is from Wilson Concrete Construction. The proposal appears to be on the required proposal form, suppliers and subcontractors form, as well as bid bond, non-collusion affidavit, all appear to be in order. Of course, we will further qualify these, but the initial inspection appears to be complete. The base bid itemized items in the proposal for project number one, which is South Meridian Street sidewalks. These are sidewalks on Meridian Street between Main Street and State Road 32. No bid quantity or total amount was submitted. Project number two, the Grant Street project, which was to create a curb between the sidewalk and Grant Street. This is north of the high school tennis courts out to Elizaville Road, to create a curb there to better protect the pedestrians on the sidewalk. The total submitted is $42,127. And then the third itemized bid proposal, project number three, is William Street. This is near Central Elementary School to remove and replace approximately 200 lineal feet of 5-foot sidewalk on the north side of Williams between Park Street and Grant Street. $32,777. There were also unit price proposals that were also included. Pay item number one, removal and replacement of concrete 4-inch sidewalk at a square foot price of $10.50 per square foot. Removal and replacement of concrete alley approaches. So essentially this is just thicker concrete, 9 inches thickness. Square foot price of $16.50. And then new sidewalk, 4-inch thickness, square foot is $10.20. And number four, 2-foot standard chairback curb at $50 per lineal foot. That were the prices submitted by Joe Wilson of Wilson Concrete Construction. I should also note there is a cashier's check provided as well. The second bid package submitted by Calumet Civil Contractors. Again, this one appears to include the entire proposal form. I see the list of suppliers and subcontractors. Bid bond is also included, as well as Form 96, non-collusion affidavits. There's a lot of financial information in here to sort through, but this would also appear to be a compliant bid package at initial inspection. List of bidders' experience is also included. Again, we will further qualify these, but back to the proposal form. Of the base bid itemized project proposals, project number 1, South Meridian Street, the total price there is $100,493.79. The Grant Street project, project number 2, $61,867.59. And the Williams Street project, $36,638.62. The unit price proposal that they were required to provide, item 1, removal and replacement of 4-inch concrete, $18 a square foot. Item 2, removal and replace concrete alley approaches at a 9-inch thickness, $25 per square foot. Concrete sidewalk, 4-inch thickness, $10 per square foot. And 2-foot chairback curb, $30.40 per lineal foot. As I said, we will further qualify these to ensure they are responsive and responsible submissions, and come back to you at your next meeting with a recommendation
We
for
need to
award.
make a motion, take them under advisement.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Now we'll do the bid openings for street resurfacing.
Okay. As you said, this is for the street resurfacing projects. It appears as though I am holding 5 bid packages. They all appear to have been certified as received before the 3 p.m. deadline by the clerk treasurer's office. In no particular order, first one I'm opening is from Midwest Paving. Proposal form per the contract documents, bid bond, sureties, Form 96, non-collusion affidavits, pre-qualification requirements, and financial statements all appear to be intact. Again, we will better qualify these. But back to the proposal form, again, for Midwest Paving. There were 5 projects in the base bid. The base bid total bid that they submitted was $517,200. There were then an additional 10 projects that were submitted as alternates, and those projects total $746,400. Again, there was some unit price materials that were also, we asked them to quote. They did not supply a milling to a 4-inch depth price, but say that was included. Regarding HMA number 9 binder, placement and compaction, $140 per ton. And the third unit price item was 9.5 millimeter HMA surface at $150 per ton. Those are the prices from Midwest Paving. Second package I am opening is from Grady Brothers Incorporated. Sorry, there's 2 copies of a proposal form, so I'm just making sure these are identical, and they appear to be. Financial statements, sureties, qualifications. It appears to be a complete bid package. Back to the proposal form. Again, the base bid, the first 5 projects, or 4 projects, excuse me, total bid price of $408,753.43. The alternate itemized proposal, the additional 10 projects for a total of $589,211.62. Unit price submitted for milling, $15 per square yard. Unit price for binder, $150 per ton. Unit price for surface, $185 per ton. Those are the numbers for Grady Brothers Incorporated. Third package is from Baumgartner and Company, Baumgartner and Company Asphalt Services. I see the proposal form, financial statements, sureties, experience, Form 96. Again, appears to be complete. Proposal form. Total for the base bid projects was $474,000.00. The total for the itemized alternates was $717,265. And unit prices, milling of $2.50 a square yard. HMA binder, $85 per ton. HMA surface, $95 per ton. Those were the numbers for Baumgartner and Company. Proposal from Calumet Civil Contractors. Again, appears to be complete at initial inspection. Proposal form, base bid, $522,000. Alternate bids for a total of $754,000. Milling unit price, $3.90 a square yard. HMA binder, $84 a ton. HMA surface, $91 per ton. And the last package I have is from Triangle Asphalt Paving Corporation. Appears to be complete. Total base bid, $342,125. Total alternate itemized bids, $537,075. Milling unit price of $2.50. HMA binder, unit price of $65 per ton. HMA surface at $72 per ton. Those are the numbers for Triangle Asphalt Paving Corporation. That's all I have to open at this time.
Thank you very much, Kevin. We'll take those under advisement till next meeting. Ready?
I'm ready.
The next one is LAD Engineering approval of 3 park project contracts.
Yes, what this is ratifying an earlier decision to proceed with these projects, ratifying the design contracts for LAD Engineering. These are for multiple projects, including the Memorial Park restroom building, as well as drainage projects at both Abner Longley Park and Memorial Park, including topographic survey services. And so, as I said, again, this is ratifying an earlier approved contract for LAD Engineering for those design services.
Do you have anything you want to add? No. We need a motion to ratify these 3 contracts with LAD Engineering.
I make a motion, we ratify the earlier contracts with LAD Engineering.
We have a motion to ratify the contracts. Is there a second?
I second the motion.
We have a second. Any questions? Not hearing any. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Secondary plan approval for Lebanon Properties.
Hello again. This is a pretty basic plat. It's a 2-lot plat for Hendricks Commercial Properties. It's at the northwest corner of State Road 39 and Enterprise Boulevard. They received all their planning approvals, actually probably last year at this point, to build a couple of spec industrial buildings on this property. So this is really just a formal approval of their plat so they can get it recorded and get these 2 lots recorded over at the county to make them official. So it does not involve any acceptance of right-of-way. All the right-of-way is already present. This is merely just to establish the lot lines. So all it needs is approval. From
Have
the
you got a
board.
picture?
Yeah, if you want to. You're not going to be able to see much, but
Oh, I'm
probably
sorry.
won't even be able to see the entire thing.
I just gave him my copy.
Yeah, Enterprise Boulevard to the south, State Road 39 to the east. There's an existing 17 acres there that's being platted as 2 lots that you see here, and they'll build a couple of spec industrial buildings here.
I'll see it. Oh, okay. All right. We need to make a motion to approve. Need a motion to approve secondary plat approval for the Lebanon properties.
I would move that we approve the secondary plat approval for Lebanon Properties
There's
as
a motion.
presented.
There's a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any questions? Not hearing any. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you, sir.
Thank you much.
Okay, looks like next we have is claims. Everybody have a chance to look at the claims?
Yes.
I need a motion to approve claims.
I make a motion, we approve the claims.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second the motion.
We have a second. All those in favor of approving the claims?
Aye.
All ayes have it. I need, any other questions? Any questions from the audience or anything? Not seeing any from the standing room only crowd. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn this meeting.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The Lebanon City Council, we resume at 7 o'clock?
15.
15, I'm sorry.
7:15.
7:15. We'll be back at 7:15.
All right.